Vibes of Cosmos, Book 2. This is page 22, 23, 24, and 25. Of course, there's more, but let's speak first about the moon. Again, this is real world stuff, the reality of the real world. This is the truth. The moon is a phenomenon. The moon is not a solid object. You cannot land on the moon. Moon is an electromagnetic phenomenon and happens in a semi-ethereal field above us at around 5,500 kilometers altitude. It explains very well this in the previous book. The diameter of the moon is 51 kilometers, the diameter. Now, it is made from fluorescence and phosphorized ether or krypton, which is an element of the sky, of what we call the universe, as you want to call it. The ether was something scientifically approved and accepted until Albert Einstein came around with his scientists in the 20th century, in the 1920s, 1930s, and they said, "Oh, this is just not legal anymore, not scientific anymore." As you know who financed Albert Einstein. Now, the cosmic electromagnetic energy comes from below. We call it the black sun because that's what in the ancient text and mythology was called the black sun. It's an electromagnetic source. It's a source of electromagnetic energy. And this electromagnetic energy, hits the inner side of our toroidal field. The toroidal field is the one that curves, not the Earth. It's the actual toroidal field, which is the field of electromagnetic energy that curves. It's at a certain altitude in the sky. And this energy that comes from below, from the black sun, hits the inner side of the toroidal field. And because of that connection and hit, there's a prismatic refraction. Very typical, we studied this in school. There's a refraction that happens when that moment of hitting the energy in the toroidal field happens. And that refraction of this cosmic energy there, that separates into two different energies, which is the positive and the negative. The positive being the sun and the negative being the moon. So there is a prismatic refraction, separates into plus and minus, positive and negative, sun and the moon, at two moving spots with shape like lenses below where they are focusing. So they're focused energy after they have been refracted from the refraction that happens because of the contact of the energy that comes from below, and that energy hits the inner side of the toroidal field, what we call the dome, right, which is an electromagnetic toroidal field. Now, the moon is a live reflection of the Earth. It's like a mirrored X-ray. It reflects the surface of the Earth with the continents and the oceans and the bottom of the oceans. In this way, it reveals to us all part of the terrestrial and oceanographic surface of the Earth. It's pretty much like a selfie. These characteristics serve us the full map of the Earth, and that's how we know, and that's why there's an Antarctic Treaty Circle that prohibits us civilians to go beyond certain places. And now we go for the moon. The moon is an electromagnetic phenomenon, happens in a semi-ethereal field above at around the same altitude, which is 5,500 kilometers. Diameter is 51 kilometers, same as the moon. It is made from fluorescence and phosphorized helium. So the moon is krypton, and the sun is helium, which are the noble gases. As you know, it is the pilot source of electromagnetic energy, giving it to the other inert gases below. So the sun interacts afterwards with neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radion, charging them. And these charged gases, which are displayed according to their density in the atmosphere, in the ionosphere, these charged gases, once they're charged with the electromagnetic energy of the sun, are responsible for the colors of the daylight, the colors of the sky: blue, purple, orange, yellow, red, pink, etc. And the cosmic electromagnetic energy, we call it cosmic because you can just say electromagnetic energy, you don't have to say cosmic. It comes from below, from the black sun, which is underneath the Earth, and hits the inner side of the toroidal field, which is what we call the dome in our popular language. There is a prismatic refraction of this energy there that separates into two different energies, the plus and minus, the plus creating the sun and the minus creating the moon, at two moving spots with shape like lenses below where they are focusing. They're focused energy spots acting like lenses. And the ionosphere The ionosphere is the upper portion of the atmosphere. This is something that's common knowledge. And in the ionosphere, that's where you have the inert or noble gases, I've mentioned before, displayed according to their density. There is no gravity. Everything is density. The higher the density, the lower the gas, and the lower the density, the higher the gas, right, in the upper layers. Now, they are separated in layers according to their molecular mass, and that displays the density. Sun happens above these layers, of course, so that's why when you have these cameras in space, you see the sun and everything is pitch black. The sun happens above these layers in the ionosphere, and it is the pilot light, so the electromagnetic field, and due to this light of the sun, there are shadows. This gives direct light, and the sun creates and also moves a curved electromagnetic field around it. So the thing that curves is not the earth, it's not the water, it's the electromagnetic field. And that makes all the inert gases below in the ionosphere around the sun to react by being ionized. So the gases are there, the sun vibrates this energy, this electromagnetic field, and this field of electromagnetic source interacts with the gases which are always present, and that gives fluorescence and the colors. That's why the Earth is an enclosed system, because the gases can only exist in this enclosed system within the electromagnetic toroidal field. And NASA and the space agencies, they actually say some of these truths. They actually give us some of these truths, but then they mix them with the lies of the spinning ball with curved water. So not everything that NASA says is a lie. They just say things of the cosmos and the universe, and then they mix them with the fantasy of a ball spinning in space with curved water and with gravity and all that stuff. So you have to read to the lines and understand I'll use our common sense actually as well, and understand the reality of the real world. Now, book number 2 has more information as well. You have the information of it. We can see this afterwards. Everything is simple trigonometry and mathematics to calculate the altitude. Also, the spots on the sun have an explanation as well. The volcanic activity map, and then we have a bit of a map as well. The different continents, which are, like I said, it's the moon is the map of the earth. You have the oceanographia, so the oceans and the bottom of the oceans. The craters we see on the moon are the craters on the bottom of the earth, of the oceans, and they get reflected because it's like an X-ray. And everything is explained here with the ocean currents, the ocean mapping. Book number 2 is very detailed in this case. You see the craters and everything else. The stars and constellations as well are explained in full detail. The constellation circle on the moon, and how that works with the zodiac. This is common, and the polar lights as well, very impressive. Remember, the black sun is underneath. This knowledge is also known by the Freemasons, but they also mix it with certain lies as well. But pretty much everything that you know as common knowledge actually comes from. It's like good knowledge. It's just like the secret societies and the people who gathered across the centuries. Well, they like to keep it for themselves, and afterwards they mix it with certain lies, and that's how we got into the 20th century with this whole thing about the earth spinning in space with Hollywood and stuff, because that's what they do. They like to keep the masses ignorant in certain ways. And that's it. Hope you really enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.